What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And today I wanted to break down the news that former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman, who is currently a member of the New York Jets, is being shopped by the team. From Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, he put out a tweet this morning saying the hashtag Jets are looking at options for Mecole Hardman, including a potential trade per league sources. Hardman was inactive on Sunday and has not been in the plans despite signing a one-year, $4 million free agency deal with upside to $5.5 million. The Jets can find him a new home and more playing time. Additionally, an NFL insider by the name of Matt Lombardo reported that the Kansas City Chiefs are reportedly a team to watch out for as Mecole Hardman goes on the trade block. So, with this news of Mecole Hardman being available, and with the idea out there, or the possibility being mentioned that the Kansas City Chiefs could bring back Mecole Hardman, I felt the need to chime in on this and to make a video about it. Let's start with this. The need for a wide receiver is obviously there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Michael and I on Kingdom Crew and our post games, we've talked extensively about that, about how this team most likely needs veteran wide receiver. And I'll answer as to whether or not Mecole Hardman can be that guy in just a second. But I did say a couple times on this channel, if you guys don't remember, that if I knew beforehand what the Kansas City Chiefs offseason was going to look like at wide receiver, I might have liked the Kansas City Chiefs bringing back Mecole Hardman on that same one-year deal the Jets gave him, just because he gives you another guy that has experience in this offense and has put up some decent numbers before. Mecole Hardman has been one of the most frustrating players on the Chiefs in recent memory. I was very critical, very hard on him. But had I known the Chiefs were just going to ho-hum at receiver this offseason and draft Rashee Rice and not really bring in a veteran, and now we're seeing that Sky Moore isn't really getting the job done, Kadarius Toney, the health issues are popping up again. Had I known all of that, I might have been like, look, I'm cool bringing Mecole Hardman back on a very cheap one-year deal. Just because he was starting to look a little bit better in 2022 before he sustained that injury. And he also really matured, I thought, during the 2021 postseason. But of course, Mecole always had his struggles. He dropped the ball a little bit too much. He could never grasp a consistent role in this offense. Him and Mahomes were never really on the same page. He had a huge problem not running through his routes, and he was never able to reach his full potential. And I feel like he really just kind of stayed the same player for all 4 years in Kansas City. And by the end of it, I was kind of done with the Mecole Hardman experience. I was ready to move on. But that was under the presumption that we would be adding significantly to the wide receiver room. Or replacing Juju and Mecole and those guys with somebody really good. But we just didn't do that. Yes, we drafted Rashee Rice, but I feel like that's a lot of responsibility being placed on his shoulders. So with all that being said, yes, at one time I did say that maybe I'd be okay with bringing back Mecole Hardman. I was also very frustrated with him, and I was perfectly fine letting him go. Would I like him back on the Kansas City Chiefs today? The answer is no, and here's why. The Kansas City Chiefs kept 7 wide receivers this year. We had high hopes for most of them, and we thought that there was a lot of talent in this group, and there still is a lot of talent, but so far, we haven't really seen that talent come to fruition on the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I feel like the need for a veteran wide receiver is there. The need to bring in a bona fide number one is there. The problem is when you keep 7 receivers, You don't really have room to add another one. And so therefore, if you bring one in, someone's going to have to go in all likelihood. And if you're, sacrificing somebody else, if you're making room in another area even to bring in another wide receiver, I feel like it's got to be a guy that you feel really good about. It has to be someone that is a clear upgrade over what you already have. And Mecole Hardman is not that. I just feel like the problem that you have now remains a problem if you bring in Mecole Hardman. You don't have a bona fide number one. You don't have a guy that is going to produce consistently. Mecole Hardman is and always will be a gadget player that gets you the occasional big play, but is also equally as frustrating. We have plenty of those guys. Kadarius Toney can do the gadget stuff. MVS will get you the occasional big play. Rashee Rice will have a frustrating drop and then a really good catch. We already have elements of Mecole Hardman in this offense with the receivers that we do have. If there's one thing that we don't have that Mecole does that I will give to people wanting to bring in Mecole is the speed. We don't really have a burner. I mean, MVS is a deep threat kind of guy, but he doesn't have the speed of Mecole Hardman. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised Mecole Hardman hasn't really grasped a role in the New York Jets at all. Like, I thought that at least roll him out in some certain packages and that he would be a fun weapon for Aaron Rodgers to try and reclaim his career in a way, have some fun with him. But, and then of course Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But, I mean, Mecole Hardman hasn't really been able to get on the field for the Jets. And while I do think that Mecole Hardman could make an impact for another team, there is a reason that he has remained inactive for the New York Jets essentially all season long, and he hasn't really been able to get on the field. And if I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I'm not feeling great about bringing in a guy that can't sniff the field for another team. Like, that's not the answer to our wide receiver problems. In conclusion, I just think Mecole Hardman is just another guy. He's a Jag. And we already have a wide receiver room full of Jags. If you're going to be making room for somebody, it has to be someone significant. And it's just not Mecole Hardman, man. Like, he put in his time in KC, but I'm kind of done with the Mecole Hardman experience. Yeah, I would have considered bringing him back on a super cheap deal, looking at what he got from the New York Jets and looking at what we did this offseason. But at the same time, I'm not dying to bring him back into the fold. It's just, I say no, but I would like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Mecole Hardman being made available by the New York Jets? And do you think the Kansas City Chiefs should bring him back, or do you think they will bring him back? I'd like to hear from you guys down in the comments. With all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. I'll see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!